15% down in just 1 month. Panic is spreading. Social media is full of people screaming that Bitcoin is dead, that we are heading straight into an 80% bear market and anyone holding now will lose everything. I see the fear in many people's faces. I read it in the comments. They believe this is it. The dream is over. But what if this exact fear is the loudest buy signal we have ever received? What if most people are currently making the biggest mistake of their lives? In this video, I will show you why I believe that we are not standing at the edge of the abyss, but at the beginning of the most exciting phase of this cycle. Let us be honest. It does not feel good. When you wake up every day and your own portfolio is red, it is grueling. You start to doubt everything. You think maybe the critics are right after all. Maybe this is all just a Ponzi scheme that is collapsing now. That is human. That is the psychology of the market. There is a famous chart that shows the phases of a market cycle. It begins with disbelief, transitions into hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and ends in total euphoria at the point where your grandma asks you about Bitcoin. After this euphoria come complacency, anxiety, denial, panic, and capitulation. So where are we right now? Many believe we are in the panic phase. They see the price drop and think the crash is here. But I see it differently. I believe we are still at the very beginning of this scale. We are in this uncomfortable sideways phase between disbelief and hope. The first rise surprised people, but there was no euphoria. There was no moment where the whole world thought Bitcoin would make us all millionaires overnight. There was no peak like 2017. We only got a little taste, and now the market is shaking off all those who are not truly convinced. Those who wanted to make quick money. Let us look at the big picture. When we zoom out of the daily chart and look at Bitcoin performance over the last 10 years, what do we see? We see a pattern of exponential growth interrupted by severe but temporary corrections. Every bear market was painful, yes, but every low point was higher than the previous high point. The peak of 2013 seems like a small hill today. The peak of 2017, which seemed like the end of the world back then, was the bottom of the last bear market. And I bet you that the current price will look exactly the same in a few years. A missed opportunity for those who sold in fear. However, this cycle is fundamentally different from the previous ones. Why? Because of two words: institutional money. For the first time in the history of Bitcoin, we have the largest asset managers in the world buying Bitcoin for their clients. BlackRock, Fidelity, and whatever they are all called. They have launched Bitcoin ETFs. That is no coincidence. That is a paradigm shift. These giants do not buy to sell next week. They buy for the next decade. They absorb every single Bitcoin that panic-stricken retail investors are currently throwing onto the market. The long-term holders who have been around since 2010 or 2015 are taking some profits. That is normal and healthy. But this supply is not being bought up by other gambler hands, but by the strongest hands the financial market has ever seen. What we are currently experiencing is a massive redistribution. A redistribution from weak hands to strong hands. From people who look at the price to people who look at the technology and the future. Every time the price falls, BlackRock loads up. Every time the media predicts doom, MicroStrategy buys more. These companies have billions if not trillions of dollars at their disposal. They play a different game than we do. They do not think in days but in decades. And they know exactly that a scarce asset like Bitcoin in a world where infinite money is printed can only go in one direction: up. Let us also look at the sentiment. The so-called Fear and Greed Index is currently at extreme fear. That means the broad mass is maximally pessimistic. And what does history teach us? The best time to buy was almost always when blood was flowing in the streets and fear was greatest. Warren Buffett once said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." Right now, most people are extremely fearful. For me, that is the loudest buy signal of all. When everyone is greedy and believes the price can only rise, like at the end of 2021, then it is time to be careful. But now is the time to be courageous. Of course, the price could fall further. I have no crystal ball. We could still fall to 50,000 from here. Anything is possible in short-term trading. But anyone trying to time the exact bottom misses the train in 9 out of 10 cases. Instead of trying to catch a falling knife, a much better strategy is the so-called dollar cost averaging. That means you buy regularly for a fixed amount, no matter what the price does. If the price is high, you buy fewer shares. If the price is low, like now, you buy much more shares for the same money. This eliminates emotions from the game and profits from the average price in the long run. I bought at 126,000, and I bought at 95,000. And if the price falls to 80,000, I will buy even more. My time horizon is not the next 4 weeks, but the next 4 years and beyond. Because let us not forget why Bitcoin exists at all. Our currencies, the dollar, lose purchasing power every year. That is not a theory, that is a fact. Governments and central banks print money like crazy to service their debts. Donald Trump has just announced he will pump $20 trillion into the economy if he gets elected. Where is all this money supposed to go? It will flow into assets, into stocks, into real estate, and yes, also into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, with its quantity limited to 21 million, is the opposite of this system. It is a lifeboat in a sea of inflation. The more money is printed, the more valuable every single Bitcoin becomes. That is simple math. So, what is the answer to the question? Buy now or wait? If you need the money tomorrow for rent, then the answer is clear. Hands off. Bitcoin is volatile. But if you have an investment horizon of at least 4 or 5 years, then I ask you, what are you waiting for? For the moment when the price is 6 figures again and all your friends are talking about it again? For the moment when greed has replaced fear again? Then it is too late to make life-changing gains. The gains are made now, in the silence, in the fear, in the uncertainty. Every peak of the last cycle will be the bottom of the next cycle. The $69,000 of 2021 seemed astronomical back then. Today we are fighting to hold this level as support. That is the definition of a long-term uptrend. I firmly believe that the phases of optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria are still ahead of us. We have not seen the parabolic end of the bull market yet by a long shot. We are in a healthy, albeit painful, correction before we ignite the next stage. The current price is a gift. It is a second chance for everyone who missed the first rise. Imagine, for a moment, it is the year 2030. The loss of value of the dollar has continued to increase. More and more people and companies have recognized the advantages of a decentralized, censorship-resistant store of value. And the price of Bitcoin stands at $500,000 or $1 million per coin. Then you will look back on these days, on this time of fear and doubt, and either be annoyed that you did not act or pat yourself on the back because you were courageous when others were fearful. You bought when everyone else was selling, and exactly this decision will have made the difference. But be careful. It brings you absolutely nothing to buy courageously now and use the dips if you then make the second biggest mistake beginners make. A mistake that can cost you all your coins without the market dropping even a cent. You bought? Good. But where are your coins? On the exchange? Then they do not belong to you. In the next video, I will show you how to store Bitcoin properly. How to become your own bank and why not your keys, not your coins is more than just a cool saying, it is your life insurance.